Anyways, okay. Now, first off, the first thing I'm getting is that I feel that you've experienced a lot of loss in your life, at least a decent amount of it. Does that make sense to you?
Say it again? I'm sorry. The air conditioner just cut on. It's really loud.
Oh, it's okay. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first impression I'm getting is that you've had a decent amount of loss in your lifetime. Does that make sense? Okay, and I'd say it's more than your average amount of loss. Kind of like it's been a big part of your life dealing with death. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something that I guess first started at a young age. You lost, you started losing people who were really close to you. And I'm getting the feeling of, I want to say an older woman saying, maybe a grandmother. Does that make sense? It's a grandmother type figure. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Sort of, okay. Alright.
It was more so my grandfather than my grandmother, because I never knew my grandmother.
But she passed away, didn't she?
Yeah, before I was born.
Well, see, the thing is, they might come through or whatever, but I don't really, I can't help who comes through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm getting the feeling of a grandmother. And it's kind of like, I think this, maybe your father's mother, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm feeling that she did pass away before you were born, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now this, maybe in the 80s? Maybe early 90s? Somewhere in there?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm feeling that your father definitely took this in a bad way, and it felt like when you were born, he kind of wished, move dog got in my way, sorry, but your father, he kind of wished that, your grandmother had been there when you were born and everything, and I know that was a big, incident in his life. And then your grandfather passed away after your grandmother, correct? Because I'm feeling a grandfatherly figure now, and this is your dad's dad too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now you were close to him when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say he was, do you know how tall I am?
No.
You don't?
Not exactly, but...
Okay, well, I'm 6'0". I'm assuming he was around my height, maybe a little shorter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, good. He kind of dressed... Wait, hold on. I'm kind of getting the feeling that he dressed in a, more like I guess an old-fashioned type way of dressing, kind of like, plaid shirts or button-up things and all that. I'm getting a older vibe from him. Like, I just get that whole feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I'm feeling that your family might have a connection to the deeper south. Does that make sense? Do you have family members who are, in other parts of the South, like, that you were decently close to, or that, well, maybe not close to, but I'm getting a reference to other family members in different states other than North Carolina. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and you visited these people before, obviously, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, wait, I just kind of feel like I lost it for a second. But you have, hold on. Let's see. But, yeah, the loss of your grandfather, he died from the illness, correct?
Yeah.
He had health problems for a while, and maybe this illness feels like his heart failed almost, but would that make sense? It's kind of like, okay, did he have a heart attack?
No.
Well, I'm getting...
That's not how he died, but I don't know if he ever did before. I don't think he did.
Okay, well, I'm getting health problems around, and he had cancer, correct? Or some type of illness like that.
Correct?
That is right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, by the way.
No, it's alright.
But,
What?
yeah, and I'm getting the sense that, he just wants you to know that everything's okay, and I know that I feel like you lost him when you were at a younger age, and this was a couple of years back, but I'm feeling that he just wants you to know it's okay, and that it's okay to, I know you've had a lot of death in your life, and the thing is, you have to learn how to, move beyond that, and you have to know that they're still around you, and that everything will be okay, and
Yeah.
it's not the end. Death is never the end. And I'm hoping all that makes sense. But yeah. Okay, and I'm also getting the feeling of some type of tragic loss. Maybe someone you know or knew in your lifetime. Does that make sense?
I didn't hear the first part of that.
Okay. I'm getting...
I opened the door and came in here messing with me, and I was trying to get her to be quiet.
Okay, it's cool. But, I'm getting like a sense of like a tragic loss. Does that make sense? Some type of...
Yeah.
Okay, now this was either a friend or a family member. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, maybe they were around your age, or not, maybe younger. I'm not going to say around your age, but they were younger, definitely. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, was this a car accident? Or some type of real... It was an accident, and, it was an accident, right? Very tragic. Everyone took it in a, I'd say it really hit everyone hard. They didn't expect it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom kind of broke my train of thought, so it's kind of...
Wait, what? Okay. Wait, what broke your train of thought?
What?
What broke your train of thought? Wait, what?
My mom broke my train of thought.
Oh, okay, alright.
He's looking at me with freaking goggles and a snorkel.
That's interesting. But, yeah. So there was a tragic loss, and this person, when they left, or when they were gone, it was very quick. That makes sense, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now was it a car accident, or was it some other type of accident involving a car or something, maybe?
Who exactly are we talking about?
I don't know, I'm getting,
because, I mean, that makes sense. It involves a car, but it wasn't a car accident.
okay, so they weren't in the car, but they might have gotten hit by the cars.
No, they were in the car, but it wasn't a car accident.
Okay, well, I'm getting a car. Okay, that's why I kind of inferred that. But, was this a guy or a girl? I can't really, I'm getting it was a girl, okay. Now, she was in the back seat, right?
I'm really not sure, because this also happened before I was born.
Okay.
I've never really heard that much detail about it, but I do believe it was the front passenger seat.
Okay, was this a family member?
Yeah.
It was a family member, okay. And she was younger, right?
She was young, yeah.
Okay, now, I'm sensing that this is really close to your family, and there's another bug on this damn porch. Sorry. But, you know, I'm getting a lot of, the feeling of a lot of death around you, and it feels like, the thing is you need to, I mean, you've coped with it fairly well over the years, you know? I really think so. And, you know, I think that it's kind of like a thing of saying they're proud of you almost, you know? And especially your grandfather, because I feel like he's coming forward the most. But, you went to his wake, and I know that this is probably around the time, I'm not going to say 10, but you were around that age, I'd say. Maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, but around that age. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so.
Okay. How old were you exactly, anyways?
Give me a second.
Okay.
Maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, alright. Bug. Sorry, again, God knows it. That's the bad thing about being outside in the summer. But, yeah, oh crap. Okay, I lost my train of thought that time. But, yeah, the feeling is that it really hits you deeply because you were close to your grandfather in life, right? And in fact, it's kind of like, he was somebody you really looked up to in your childhood, and when he was gone, I feel almost like you didn't know how to cope with it at that age. And I'm sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But, I think the thing that they're driving at is that they want you to know that they're okay, and everything will be okay, and they're very proud of you. You're doing really well in life. I mean, I know you have some down moments and everything, but for the most part, you get along pretty well, I think.
Yeah, for the most
Okay. Now, there was some type of incident when you were a kid where I'm kind of feeling that I think your grandpa or your grandfather either heard about this or he was there, and it's an accident. You did something, maybe you got, I don't know, there was some type of accident when you were a kid, and I want to say maybe you got burned or something by touching like a stove or something like that, or you got burned picking something up or something like that. Would that make sense? Some type of burn? Huh?
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
But
really can't remember.
okay. Well, I understand that. I mean, when you're younger, usually
A
if you,
long time ago.
yeah. But just remember that, and maybe later it'll make sense. But there was an incident where you used to sit around with your grandpa and talk to him, didn't you?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like you've thought about him in the last maybe even couple of months, and you've had. I mean, it's kind of like you think about him and you kind of reach out to him in that sense, and it's kind of like some things in your childhood you really have a hard time getting over and you just miss him. Would that make sense to you?
Yep.
Okay. And in fact, you kind of wish that you would go see him more sometimes. And, I mean, I guess you don't get to go see him very much, but, yeah, I know that you wish you could go see him more. That makes sense, obviously, I guess.
Yeah.
So the thing is that the thing you should remember is to keep him in your heart, and that's the main thing you should do when it comes down to all this. You should just remember him, and whenever you're in need of, him, his guidance, or, just his presence, just think of him, and he'll be with you. Okay?
All right.
And, I kind of think that's pretty much all they wanted to say. And, just, I guess, take their love and be happy.
Interesting.
Yeah. How was that? I mean, did I do all right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually.
Okay. Well, now, this, what are you up to now? Okay, fair enough. Now, this is actually the hard part of the thing, because I have to tell you that what I just did was not real mediumship. And that was the experiment right there. And I'm sorry about doing that. But I think that the reason I did it mainly is to show you what it's like in the, how people take advantage of, the grieving, or people who've lost people. And, I mean, from that, so, you can compare it to the reading that he does for you and see which one is more accurate. And, I am sorry about your grandpa and everything. And I am sure he's with you. I am sure he's with you and everything. But what I did is, cold reading is a trick where you work off of a person's responses. You kind of gauge the responses and get a feel for, how they answer the questions and whatnot that you ask them. And they kind of get a lead. They kind of get a feeling of where to go with the reading. And they can, it seems like they know everything about you. But really, when it comes down to it, you're pretty much giving them a lot of information, and they're inferring the rest of it. So, and it's a very terrible thing when somebody claims that they're actually talking to someone's dead loved ones, and they, fake it like that.
Yeah.
But, what?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want you upset at me or anything for that.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I mean, I just, see, with me, I think that I know the tricks, and I know how people can take advantage of grieving people. So what I want to do is get to the, the truth of it. Do people really talk to the dead? But it actually kind of pisses me off when, have you ever watched some of those mediums on TV and whatnot? Like Long Island Medium and all that stuff, or not?
Not really.
Okay, well, they use that kind of trick that I just used.
You know what I'm supposed to do? Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. Well, they use that kind
I
of...
was listening the whole time.
Okay. They use the kind of trick that I just used. And it really takes advantage of people. And one thing that I want to do with the NCPII is, kind of get the more scientific side out. And it's a very skeptical organization, mainly because I'm skeptical. But at the same time, I think a person should be open-minded to all this stuff, because, a lot of people do report seeing ghosts and having experiences like that. And I know you said you've seen ghosts before.
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry for doing that. I kind of feel bad about it now.
No, it's alright.